Alright everybody, welcome to the notes on Chapter 1, Section 5. As you can see from the calendar, Chapter 1, Section 5 is on angle pairs. So let's get right to it. Not a lot to do in the way of notes today and practice problems, more about definitions. What I'd like for you to do, and I know we just started, and you're anxious to hear me talk, but instead, what I would like for you to do is I'd like for you to pause the video right here and see if you can't put something in for the definition of each one of these terms, okay? It doesn't have to be a lot. It doesn't have to be an overwhelming amount of things. I would just like it to be a couple words. For example, I'll give you an example and then you're going to do the rest. Ready? Here's an example. A right angle is an angle whose measure is 90. I didn't look that up. You don't have to look it up. Some of these you're going to know. If you're not sure, just Google it. What's an obtuse angle? What's an acute angle, straight angle, and so on. Do the best you can. Get some things filled in for all those blanks, and then we'll see how you did. Taking a look at the next page, we're going to talk specifically about some angle pairs. So here's a couple that you needed from the previous page, all right? So we have vertical angles. Those are angles formed by two intersecting lines. They're across from one another, okay? Adjacent angles, that's a common side and a common vertex, but no common interior points. Complementary angles are two angles whose measures add up to 90. Supplementary, two angles whose measure up to 180. And linear pair are adjacent angles that are also supplementary. So while it's important to understand what all those are in the definitions, it's also really important to be able to draw them and identify them. So take a second, pause the video here, see if you can draw a picture of each. If you can't, don't worry. When you unpause the video, I will draw them for you. So pause the video now. Do it now, 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 now. Alright, so now you've unpaused. Let's take a look at the drawings you have or the ones that you don't have, and then you can just copy mine. So vertical angles in this instance would be 1 and 2, and then 3 and 4. Okay, those would be our vertical angles. Adjacent angles, 1 and 2, just two angles that are next to each other, share a side, share a vertex. Complementary angles are two angles that add up to 90 degrees. So if you add up 42 and 48, you get 90. Supplementary angles, Mr. Douglas wants you to know that complementary angles also say nice things about you. And it's true, unless you subtweet them and then they'll say something nice about you to your face, but then behind your back they're going to say terrible things. Supplementary angles they add up to 180 degrees. And then a linear pair, two adjacent angles that are also supplementary, so they form a line. All right? So go ahead and take a second to get those drawings down. Then we're going to use the definitions above to classify the following angles as vertical, adjacent, complementary, and or supplementary. So what we're going to do is for numbers 1 through 8 down here, we're going to decide, all right, are angles 1 and 2? Well, what are angles 1 and 2? Angles 1 and 2 are next to each other, so they share a side, so they could be adjacent. So that's one answer. But there are other things that they are. They're adjacent. What else? They are a linear pair. So we could put that. Where did it go, you ask? Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Boom. Okay? They're adjacent. They're also supplementary, we said. And we also said that they are a linear pair. All right, so we have all those. All right, so let's look at angles 5 and 6. 5 and 6, there's a lot going on here. These two angles add up to 90, so they're complementary. They are also adjacent. Okay, so this one has two possible answers, 7 and 8. 7, 8. Well, they look like they form a line, so that's a linear pair. Linear pair, by definition, means that they're supplementary, and by definition, it means that they're adjacent because they share a side. All right? Let's look at 2 and 4. 2 and 4 are these two angles right here. Those are vertical angles, okay? Vertical angles formed by intersecting lines. Let's look at 1 and 4. 1 and 4 are the same exact as 7 and 8. Okay, that's a linear pair, that's supplementary and adjacent, so all those are true. 9 and 10. 9 and 10, let's see. Are they complementary? Well, no, that's where students get this one wrong. 35 plus 65 is not 90, that's 100. Are they vertical? No. Adjacent? No. Supplementary? No. It appears as though we were intentionally difficult right here because these angles are nothing. Okay, so there's no choice that fits that one. Let's look at 9 and 11. 55 plus 35. Now those two are complementary. 35 plus 55 is 90. And then 12 and 13, they're complementary because this symbol right here means 90 degrees. That's what that little box means. That means they add up to, that's a right angle, and right means 90. So we have that, but they're also adjacent. They share a side. Okay? Great job, everybody. All right, let's take a look at number 9 here. Find the measure, if the measure of angle 1 is 30, so they're telling us this is 30, all right? So the measure of angle 1 is 30. Find the measure of angle 2. Well, the measure of angle 2, these are supplementary. They form a linear pair. So the measure of angle 2 is going to be 150. They add up to 180. All right, the measure of angle 3, well, angle 3 and angle 1 are vertical angles. So angle 3 and angle 1 are the same. So that's easy. That's 30. And then angle 2 and angle 4 are the same because they're vertical. So that's 150. So just by knowing one angle, we're able to figure out the other 4. Pause the video right here for a second. See if you can figure out if angle 6 is 20. What are the rest of the angles in that picture? Take a second, pause the video, and then check back with me. Okay, so hopefully now you've unpaused the video and you can see that I got 20, 20, 160, and 160. Identify the vertical angles above. What do you notice about the measures of vertical angles? Well, the vertical angles we identified as the ones that are across from one another, right? So these two are vertical angles, these two are vertical, these two, and these two. And what do you notice about their measures? Well, really simply, you probably notice that vertical angles are congruent. Easy enough, right? All right. Everything else from here on out is practice. We'll work on this in class. That's it for the notes. Real easy stuff. You're welcome. I'll think of you always. See you soon. Bye. One last thing as a gift, I'm going to show you my definitions for the terms that I asked you guys to get in case you didn't actually get them because you are a liar. So here's my definitions. Pause the video where you need to. Get what you need here. Make sure you have all these written down because the more times you write something, the more likely it is that you'll need carpal tunnel surgery down the road. And that's what we're trying to do. Okay? There's the definitions. Make sure you have those. You're welcome.